Spreaker family. This is your girl Tosh with Table Talk with Tosh. I am not going to be here long today. I am going to do a very quick little conversation, little car phone conversation with you. I wanted to just bring this to your attention. And today, as many of you head to church, it's 12:24, so some of you are going to the second service, as well as for some of you who are on the West Coast. As you head to church today, or even when you go to Bible study, or if you have it like that with your pastor, deacons, deaconesses, whatever you call it. And I'm not even going to go there with the other religions. I'm just going to stick with Christianity for today. Because I do see in the Muslim community, they do what I'm about to talk about. Somewhat more than what Christians do. But what I'm going to talk to you today about is, so I'll give you a little backstory. A Facebook friend of mine knew that I met her before, and both of our her only child, as well as our youngest child, are the same age, and both of them kind of missed the cutoff age of starting kindergarten because of their date of birth, like when they were born. If you were born before August, if your birthday falls before August, say 15th, you have to wait an entire year to start kindergarten. And so that poses a problem. And because I feel like our youngest is ready for kindergarten. He was in preschool last year, very expensive private school, $8,000 just for pre-K, not even preschool. No, I'm sorry, preschool, not pre-K. So preschool is one, then you go to pre-K, and then you go to kindergarten. So he would have had to go another year another year pre-K, and then go to kindergarten. So that's if you do the math, that's $16,000. And I felt like, although he went to this very prestigious private school, because that's the only place that you can really send him, I just don't feel like he was pushed enough. The other issue is that, I know we're looking at diversity and inclusion, and our son was the only little black boy in his class. And I think, not just me, but my husband and I, we felt like that did something damaging to his self-esteem, his confidence, being the only little black boy in his class. And we also felt as though, for the amount of money that we were putting out, we just didn't feel like the education was as good as it could have been, in terms of, he knows a lot of things about farming, and they did a lot of talk about animals and various animals. And we were at the zoo one day, and he said, "Oh, I know we must be close to the pandas because this is what pandas eat." So he knows all about that kind of stuff. But what I want to say is, let me just get into it, because I know people are like, "What are you talking about?" What I want to say is, this Facebook friend of mine told me about a school that was been in existence for some time now, and she was telling us about this school at a church. It's embedded in a church, and they are teaching African American kids. So on the website, it's saying it's mostly African American kids, and they are teaching the students algebra in the second grade. Children in kindergarten are reading chapter books. And we met with the pastor and the first lady, and they are the ones who kind of coordinate and run this school. And they were basically saying this is a very extremely rigorous academic program. And so what I want to say to you is, it is a travesty, in my opinion, that this is the only church in this area that is doing that. And what I want to say is, we have all these churches and all these people paying all these tithes and offerings and love offerings, etc. Why is it that these churches are not doing this in mass numbers? So what I would love to see is, although this church is doing it and doing it very, very well, these kids are graduating at the top 1% of across the nation. So they can compete with the very, prestigious private schools across the nation. And so what I would love to see is, for each of you who are listening to this, if you have an influence in your church, if you're usher, deacon, etc., extraordinaire, ask your pastor, why aren't more churches having schools to teach African American children about what is important and vital to our educational standing in this country? There is no reason why we should have poor performing schools, and we accept that. We have all these people trying to run for these charter schools when they pop up. But why not do this ourselves? We always talk about, we have to do this. And we always wait for other people and other institutions to come in and do what we should be doing. So just like we have HBCUs and they do great, we should be doing that before these kids even get to that point. The first time your child, one of my Facebook friends, shout out to Cheatwood, he had a post the other day, and he's a teacher in Pennsylvania. I'm not gonna give all his information, but he basically had a post, and it just broke my heart. He said that his students came in I believe he teaches high school, and they came in, and for the first time they were in amazement because that was the first time they had seen a black teacher. And we have to do better. So if we don't have jobs, if we can't seem to find a job, we should be creating our own schools and teaching our own children the education that they need to succeed in life. Why are we continuing to send our children to schools that are underserving? It's underserved. We don't have the proper textbooks. We don't have the proper education, and we don't have the proper patience and time and just the skill set that we need to give to. What I'm trying to say is, let me just back because I can see what I'm trying to say. We send our kids to these schools, and I'm not dissing the teachers, I'm not dissing the administration, but many times they don't understand our children. We have children who, so what we decided to do was put both of our boys in this school. And so we said one of our oldest, he can be a little bit rambunctious at times. And so this school can understand that, because this is a mother and a father who raised African American children. And I'm not saying that others can't understand our children, not by any stretch of the means. But sometimes you just need Miss May to put her hand on your shoulder, and little Johnny will settle right on down. And we have seen that time and time again with our own children, and how when we've had them in places where there was an older African American woman, for example, and she put her hand on our son's back, and it calmed him right down. She gets it. She understands it. She raised several children. She's been in education for 30, 40 years. We have all of these African American teachers who have retired. Why not have, and they go to these churches, why can't they go back in the church, donate an hour, 2, 3, 4 times? We'll pay them, but donate some time to go in and say, okay, I'm gonna teach English one day a week. I'm retired. I know what I'm doing. I've taught hundreds of kids. Why, thousands of kids in many situations. If you've been in education for 30, 40 years and you're retired, why can't we take this mega church and open our own schools? And I can't even for the life of me not understand why nobody has ever thought of this. And so I know that we have churches out here that are doing it, but we need to be doing this across the board, from sea to shining sea. I just don't understand that. So put that, if maybe I could be used as a vessel. Maybe it's not for me. Nobody's going to, everybody's not going to hear this podcast. But if you hear this and you are a member of a mega church or small church, doesn't have to be a mega church, go to your pastor today, call them, email them, write them, fax them, her, whoever, and say, what do you think about an idea of us starting a small school? It doesn't have to be big, 20, 30, 40, 50 kids. What's wrong with that? And so therefore, it could be like a homeschool environment. Now your children are in a safe environment with family, quote unquote family, and they're getting taught what we need them to know. They get that one-on-one attention. So you have one of the reasons why we took our daughter out of the school, we took her out of our district school, was because they have 42 children in one class. Who can learn like that? Especially at that level. So we took her out, we put her in a private school, $16,000 a year. So, it's not that, and I know many people can't afford that kind of tuition. We couldn't afford it, but we sacrificed, and we said, there were parties, there were events, and we just couldn't make it. But I'm asking all of you to think about that, if you will. Just go to and even if you can't do it in the church, if you have somebody who, let's say they have a big house, they have a big basement, why can't we say, okay, we're going to pay, I'm going to use the name Karen. We're going to pay Karen $100 a week to teach our children. If that's how you have 9 children in that classroom, and let's say it's a homeschool environment, so every child is individualized, so it's not as if you have to be, everybody has to be in the 5th grade. But she can take that time to walk through the class, and that's $900 a week that we could be giving her to teach our children. So this is what I'm not understanding. For all you people out there who are unemployed, maybe you just don't want to work for somebody for the rest of your life. If we could all share that load, maybe we say, here's the $900 into this pot, but you're going to teach an hour, I'm going to teach an hour. Maybe I'll donate an hour of my time. If let's say I'm out and I'm running around, I say, I have time every day from 12 to 1 to go and teach this class, because these are my children. somebody had I had a post earlier this week, and because I posted a picture of our daughter. You know, she's going to this military academy, and someone said, "Oh, I feel like I never met you, Tosh, but I feel like I know you because I've seen your daughter grow from the time she was little to now, and I feel, although she's not my daughter." And I said, "Stop right there." I said, "She is your daughter." I said, because when we are the village, and you are a part of my village. I may have not met a lot of you, but you're still a part of the village. You still give me great information, great advice. I see things, I pass it along. You've seen things, you've passed it along. I found out about a program, Delaware Seed Program. Check it out. Google it for yourselves. Seed, SEED. So when we have information that's going to help our community, that I am your child's mother, and you're my child's mother. If you're positive and you're about, you know, uplifting our community, then you are a part of my village, and I am a part of yours. So she is your child because she belongs to our community, and our children belong to our community. So if we want to see our community become a place where we can flourish and we can develop some strong, healthy minds, let's start our own schools. Let's start our own home schools. We can homeschool our children. And this is not to be exclusionary. We're not going to say, oh, we're excluding others. We're not. We're just saying that if we are in a failing system, a failing school system, why not teach our own? And if the church is the place to be, then that's where. If you're going to pay tithes and offerings and send pastor on a 10-day vacation to Venezuela or what have you, and he and his wife, and buying them new cars, etc., then they can open up their doors and help us start schools for our children. These churches belong to us. They are in our communities. Why not use them? That's one place you don't have to worry about, oh, we're going to have a school. It's right there. On this one strip in Delaware, there are 9 churches. So why can't we have 9 schools? And we don't have to compete against one another. You have a school K through 5. I have a school 6 through 8, and somebody has a school for high schoolers. Why are we doing? Why? And then let's say college is not for everybody. Let's have a trade school in the church, teaching these kids how to electrical, plumbing, water treatment. I don't know, whatever, but basket weaving. We need to be teaching and training up our children so that we can grow. That's all I have to say, folks. I am not going to belabor those points anymore. Check me out. I will continue to bring it to you live as only I can do it, and only you can do it, and together we can do it. I will check you out later. Deuces.